That's a cheerful expression I got there. It is what it is. Uh, it's been a long day. Not as much of it as has been working on the project I want to work on, but I have played a little around with the build box today and got a little practice with it. It's not super intuitive when you first start to play with it, but you can get the hang of it pretty quickly. They have a lot of tutorials online that you can use if you need to. But ah, keeps prompting me for the download the update. That's not a. It's not something I'm looking for. I don't need. It reminds me of all those like, your free usage of Adobe Screen Checker or whatever the crap they built into the security system on the computer. Is like, it ran out. Yeah, I went with something else. Do you want to renew? No, no, I don't. Sometimes you conflict with other programs. But yeah, I don't need that in the game building software that I'm playing with. But maybe I just have to get used to it. I also feel like the the game, when you open up a build box, they have the front window, which is essentially uh, upgrade at the top, and then create new, opened recently, latest news down with announcing our big Valentine's Day sale. Build box game spotlight, name a game, market your indie game 101. Build box game spotlight, another spotlight game, and then they have tutorial video link, uh, simple game demo, and platform game demo. I did play with the platform game demo. Um, I have a link on the bottom to open build box at startup, which they actually tried to do when I was installing it. I don't want this to open every time I start my computer. Like, I want to open it when I'm ready to use it. But then you hit create new. It takes its second to get you there, and then it creator, name, untitled, and then game type, and then it's like default portrait, default landscape, 360 shooter, avoidance, basketball. Like, none of these are like concepts that are clear enough as to what capabilities they offer. For the most part, what I was looking at, they have a gravity runner, impossible, a ISO jump slide versus an ISO jump, and I don't know what the difference between them is. Jetpack, jump tower, jump trap. Those are somewhat clear. They have many animations when you scroll, when you put your mouse over. Jumping game, mini stages, I'm not exactly clear on. And then Moss, pinball. Some of these make sense just from the name. They have pivot duel, which I understand. The animation kind of suggests maybe what that does, but it's nothing I've ever seen before. Racing game, um, ring wall. I don't. A runner I checked out earlier, and I guess that's just a side scroller. Um, what's rush ball? I don't know. Shape wars. I don't understand that one. Shooting runner. Which is just a side scroller with a gun on the front of it. Side shooter, which is one of those classic arcade games. Square stacker. Stage clear. I don't know what a stage clear game is. It looks like it's giving the impression of like a Pac-Man. Sticky jump. Swipe board. Like, what does it mean? Wall jump is pretty clear. Wall reverse. I mean, I don't know. World jumper, which is third one, and zigzag. And so most of what I'm probably going to end up doing might be things like um, stage clear. I might do a wall jumper or something. I doubt it though. Star stacker. I don't know what I would do with that. Is it meant to be like a Tetris knockoff? Side shooter. I might do something. Runner might do something. Shape Wars doesn't make enough sense for me to know whether I'll do that. What is Rush Ball? I don't think the animation really doesn't make that any clearer. I might do a runner. Maybe a racing game. Platformer. Maybe pinball. I don't know anything about motocross. Mini stages I might try. Jumping's not on my radar. Lockstar. I mean, I don't know what that's about. ISO jump might be worth like exploring. Jetpack might be like Jetpack doesn't strike me as too different from some of these random bouncing games. Gravity Portal, Flappy Bird, essentially. Falling, downward bounce. It's a bouncing game, I guess. I don't. Dogfighting game might be something I'd do with. Break the chain. Don't get that one. Basketball. Nah, not really my thing. Avoidance, maybe. 360 shooter. Default portrait. Like those all may be something I could do some simple goof games with. I just want to see if I can play it with. I mean, the thing that has the most application here is platformer for me, I imagine. And then you have things where you can set it up um, like basic settings, score type. You have coins collected, points collected, global distance, global coins, global points. So what's the difference between points collected and global points? So like a distance game would be, does it count, backtracking at any point? That was the other thing. When I was playing with this earlier today, I was a little frustrated that I couldn't backtrack. They have the ability to go to one side of the screen and it follows you. But when you go backward, you have to be up against the screen to push it back. And when you can't see where you're going. And so it sort of defeated the purpose of having that feature. I have to figure out if there's a way to do that. And so I may have to work on the forums with some other people to see if I could do that. But platformer we're going to do. Now, I feel like distance, like my coins are going to be brains eaten. Include the ability to win the game as a pacifist. There has to be a win value that's not coins collected. Your coins collected. So distance is probably what I want to look at. So, and then game type, single world, multi-world, endless, menu settings, pause, coin shop, and info settings. So we start one of these up. It gave me some error messages earlier about not being able to play audio sounds, and I don't care at this point. Can I make the game work? That's my big focus right now. End distance. Start distance 0, end distance 1. Scene distance 1136. Play count. Cooldown. Okay. So let's give this a test run. Yeah. OpenAL sound engine initialization failed. Sounds in game preview might not work. Whatever. Sounds at this point. I got to figure out how to resolve that at some point, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. So that bounce is a little more than I want to be able to do. Bang, dead. Okay, so that part played out. Oh, that's a heck of a jump that I barely made. Oh, jeez. All right, I get it. Whoever built the monster. Okay, so let's get out of here. Scene 1. I think they're cycling them randomly because that's not the order I got them in. Yeah, that's not the order I got them in. So that's the infinite. Start scene and distance. Whoa, okay, what the heck? Okay. I had 2 fingers on the touchpad, so it screwed it up. No. Oh, come on. You can, I know you're capable of doing this. All right, fine. Honestly, dude, really, don't make me quit the game and start it over again. This really, this, this is not useful. All right. All right, good enough. That'll have to do. And so, like, I do kind of want to see back here. Is it possible to? No, I can't do that. And like, there's a default for how big a scene is, and that's so when I basically what I'm going to do for the layout on this when I actually bring it out a little bit better than I have been is change the like they give you a default set of shapes. They give you a circle for the character, rectangles for platforms, and triangles for enemies. And that's really just sort of what they do. And what I want to do at this point is uh, figure out like how that addition works. But I will exchange the circle for a rectangle, roughly a human, and the larger rectangles that are the platforms. One's going to be the base that you walk on, and the others will maybe be like cars in the road. And then the triangles, you can give them motion and bullets at you. And uh, evade you. And so what I need to do is figure out what I need to do. I will change the triangle over to another rectangle, like just a simple block that'll move away and at you and whatever. That's fine. Background that scrolls by can be a city, and uh, rectangles for cars that you sometimes have to get over, which is going to be tricky because there isn't types of motion animations based on directional changes that I can see. So I can't start from walking sideways like a shambling zombie to a climbing motion that I have been able to discover yet. So I don't know. I may have to just make a ramp on like an invisible ramp at the front of the vehicle and position the zombie walk in such a way that it can look like a climbing motion. I don't know if that's possible, but there's got to be a way to make it work. Um, and then uh, uh, most of the motion at this point is done by a right arrow, left arrow, and E for jumping. Now my character's not going to do any jumping, so I might be able to translate jumping to climbing. Um, so I may end up doing that. And then I was looking to see if I could get the motion to be like swipe to move them, swipe to move them in the other direction, tap to pick up things. Like you could make like power ups that you can snag. Character moves, and those power ups give you the capability of changing something about yourself, make you invulnerable, or give you triple fire instead of single fire kind of modes. What I would want to be able to do with that is have the power ups be like bricks or crowbars or those types of things that you find on the ground, and you have to click on them. I don't know if that's possible. Let's um, yeah, let's see if I can pull in. These are actually the loading of images is kind of nice because it is a very basic like drag and drop mode. It does require that all your images be done as PNG files, which most of mine are not. So that's going to be a little bit of to work on. No, not documents, pictures. Come on, work with me here a little bit. Here, do we have another file that I can use? No, not in that folder. There we go. That's kind of neat. Do we have any PNGs? JPEGs. We got a lot of JPEGs. That was the PNG we used last time. Let's just do that, shall we? Drag and drop and in actions. So close that for right now. Scale that down to 0.01. Or no, as I did last time. So 0.05, and there you go. made into an action, which is where you get your coins. Now, rename that because that's not the best name for that. Object, edit, collision, shape. No, it's good where it is. Type, coin, kill all enemies, invincibility, power up magnet, strike. Set checkpoint, next checkpoint, restart checkpoint, and gameplay. I don't know what gameplay does. Strike might be what we're looking for. Or I can do a feature where I should be able to do a kill enemy and have the killed enemy simultaneously spawn a immobile human form that you then go and have to get the coin from, which in this case would be brains. Action type. So we do a power magnet strike. Okay, animation placement character screen. So the animation of it overlay replace. So character action full screen. There is a feature called character bullet for the character, and so that's what I'll probably end up having to make the objects that they pick up. None. So action type. I may have to do sequentially, kind like I can make it a coin, enemies, which I don't want it to do. Invincibility is not in the goals. Power up magnet, no. Set checkpoint, no. Next checkpoint, no. Restart checkpoint, no. Gameplay. Gameplay, do. Animation placement from action or full screen. Animation behavior, overlay, replace. So I may end up doing, when you hit an enemy, it disappears by an unconscious human, and touching an unconscious and hitting a feature drops a coin, a brain, for you to consume. Maybe how I have to do that. Reward coins for strike? No. Show coin reward point. Show point reward. Duration. Appearance chance. Camera shake, camera flash. Yeah, I mean, I feel like what I'll probably have to do for that is do a power up, if I can, that enables. Okay, so let's see if I can go back and character character bullet animation, jump, can shape, jump, bounce force, random friction, air drag, damage. So damage. Damage 1, damage delay 0. Like, none of that is useful. Advanced move. Character icon. Like, there must have the character throw, like, flap their hand like they're throwing something, and then have a brick or a crowbar happen as your character bullet. Advanced move. Name, collision shape, animation, sound, activate on release, force switch button, linear velocity, angular velocity. This is complicated, and it's not exactly clear about the way you should progress. Animation, jump animation, shooting animation, bullet animation. So it looks like there's potentially only one bullet animation. Although there may be a way to that is very true. Hang on. Split animation object. Enemy collision type. Collide. Destroy type. There is a feature somewhere in here where objects at objects platform or villain idle sound death defeated animation taking damage sound death delay. Okay, so added components for that advanced damage. So the villain characters would be name, collision shape, animation, sound, active release, linear velocity, angular velocity, mathematical operation, event, on collision. Okay, there we go. And then it has effect asset, all objects, character, enemy. What does it do? Can I make it change? Mathematical operation is replace on collision. So if I set it so that the bullet or if there's a feature to replace the bullet, like if you get a power up, it replaces the bullet with a different one depending on which power up you touch. And then based on that, it can then maybe, you throw something different near your bullet. And then the bullet will always have a collision with enemy and be replaced by immobile human form, which when that is with, or when is it collision? Yeah, when that is collision with the actor, drops a coin. So I think that's sort of what I may have to do. Unconscious human form, collision, replace brain, collision with brain, drops coin. Like that may be how I have to do that. Like, I'll have to really play, like, it's a convoluted mechanism to make that do what I need it to do. So in the long, this software is not one I will use very much in the future. Um, it's cumbersome to do what I need it to do, and I'd be intensely curious. I think I was looking last night at the RPG Maker website. Where is that? What are they doing there? Oh, tell me all that stuff that I was doing. That's the BuildBox forums. That's making the plans for my Honolulu. I think I closed it. Poop. Hang on. Is it on the other? Let's just let's run over, see if we can find RPG Maker. And RPG site Maker, and try out that. Take a look and see if they have a free trial of the side scroller building software they had. So product, IG Maker, download trial. So I can trial that at some point and see how it compares. Screen captures, and it looks like it would offer me the capabilities to do a lot with it. And at the $60 purchase price for that one, I may do that in the future. I don't know if that's a limited time license though. Screen suggests that you can do like a Pokemon or a like a Dragon Warrior style game, a Mario, or a Mega Man. It looks like you could probably do something like that. Oh, and like the sideways flying spaceships. So it looks like you could do most of what you could do in BuildBox. Yeah, like they got a as one of the screens that you can see. So I may do that and just see how they compare. I can do with BuildBox in this week and next week. I think BuildBox, expense-wise and capability-wise, doesn't suggest that I will be doing as much with it in the future. It has some capabilities that I don't think this IG Maker has. So, like, I may end up making some of those games box available and just putting them out there before I lose my license by using BuildBox. But I do think to explore using the IG Maker instead in the future. I mean, it's a $60 purchase. I'll do the download trial and explore it. It looks like it does everything BuildBox does. And if it's even remotely more sense in some of its behaviors and offers some of the features that I'm looking for it to do, like I want to be able to have some of those things that I want to, like the zombie to be able to climb over a car or knock over a stack of boxes to fill a hole so that they can walk, and like not have to jump to get up on top of it and not have to use like a cheat to get around to make it do what I want it to do. Like that, they've made it more complicated than I necessarily want it to be to do certain features in BuildBox. Not that BuildBox is bad. It's just that what I'm doing with it is not really meant to do well. And so, like, I'll look through the forums on BuildBox because that was one of the things I was starting to do when I realized what time it was. So I need to and really get a sense of what other people are doing with it because it's not intuitive. It's not super intuitive to start with. But I do kind of want to find out like what neat little tricks other people have been able to do with it, and then figure out how to bend those to do things that I want to do. So they've got game design, gameplay, level design, nodes, assets, game marketing, advertising, in-app purchases, promotional. The forums have all these, and they have the showcase, technical discussion. How can I? Question mark. Buildbox free beta, Buildbox general discussion, official announcements. So those are the categories of topics that you can find on the Billboard Buildbox forum. You have to get approved to post messages in there. I tried to do it a while back, and it took them like a week to let me in. I was not impressed by that. A little frustrated, to be honest, because I wanted to know at that time how to do a certain thing, and I couldn't get anybody to answer me because I couldn't post because they hadn't approved me to post yet, and it took a week to do that. So this turned out to not be my like hoped for. Like I'm pretty sure with practice I can find a way to get around limitations that I'm struggling with right now. Because like for the most part, like what I want to do is if you think about like the old Mario games where he's hopping down the screen and he encounters a turtle, if he hops on the turtle, it stops it and turns it into an object that he can pick up. Now, I want to be able to, like, there's out there a tutorial to do a knockoff Mario where you hop on a thing that's moving on its own accord. It's an enemy. You hop on it, it comes an object you can use and throw it at other objects and hurt them with it. Like, if you can show me a 7-step process of exchanging one thing for another thing for another thing for another thing, that's fine. Me how to do that feature. That enables me to do some of the things I want to do with this game. And if you can show me how to climb over an object, animation from horizontal walking to a climbing animation, that would also be much appreciated. Like maybe my Google Foo is not up to it, but I can't find any information on how to do that. And it's maybe because nobody's tried to do that. It looks like the vast majority of the games produced with this I have seen have been here's this decorative shiny crystal ball kind of thing rolling through a path, avoid the hazards on. And I think I'm trying to push the limits of what it can do. So it's a little frustrating, but I didn't. I played with it so much this afternoon that I didn't get a chance to play with. But I think at this point I'm just trying to focus on getting the mechanics. Like just build the rectangle in the shape of what it look like. Build the rectangles in the shape of the cars. Build rectangles in the rough outline of where we make the power ups. Move your character. Catch a power up. Have the humans you duck behind cover. When you get the power ups, have them convert into a bullet that you can throw, but only so long as you have the power up to do it. Like, power up equals one object that you can throw. So, one player bullet. So, it makes you pick up and basically bricks or whatever, and you're throwing them. And then with that capability, I'm sorry, it's on my lap tonight. I thought because of the broken monitor. So that should get the ammunition and the firing and the whatnot of the character The next part becomes when you damage an opponent, their death animation trigger an event that leaves an immobile figure that then, when you damage the immobile colliding with it or attacking it in another way, drops a coin of a brain for you to eat. I think if I can get those mechanics worked out in just simple blocky shapes, that's the most important factor. Try to get by. Um, After that, I can tweak it for better effects, uh, the way the characters move and the objects move. Like I feel like if the zombie throws a brick right now, if it travels in a straight line, like a ballistic arc, um, and like the area you hit with bullet to potentially be just the head area. If you hit anywhere else in the body, it does a point of damage, kill the opponent. Like tweaking that a little bit more to refine the results of what you're doing, I think is later. And after I get to the point where I'm doing the refinement, I have to work on my art for it. And I voices for it, so I can do like a zombie moan, and the dialogue of the humans as they fire guns at him, screaming. Um, I still kind of want to include one of the character bullets to be a baby zombie and it becomes a self-mobile um, projectile, basically hitting the character and down and crawling around growling, maybe catching other humans while it's moving around, tripping them or something. It's a baby. It doesn't have any teeth, so it can't bite through the skull. That's such a twisted idea. uh, and I'm trying to figure out the distance as um, the victory, how far you travel, being the victory scenario, and you can rack up brain points as a separate thing. So distance traveled, like I'm trying to figure out what that means. It's one of the things, like you can do distance, um, points, and coins as you win, and then there's global distance, global points, and global coins. And I think the difference between global and standard on each of those is if you pass from level 1 to level 2, those are. So like if you ever played like some of the like the Mario 3 or those types of games, when Mario's going through World 1, accumulates coins in World 1, but when he goes out into the overworld and then goes into World 2, into accumulation of those coin values. So winning value of a coin collection would be World 1 coin collection winning value. Um, but a winning value of global coins would be accumulation from all the different worlds. That's my guess. Detail it well, and it's hard to get that information anywhere. I may just have to play with it and find out. Um, but I think overarchingly, like what I want to be able to achieve is like it's mostly a survival game. So like how long does it take you before you die? Where like a foregone conclusion for the most part. It takes like an exceptional player to get to a point where they can finish finish dying. So like there are three things I need to solve for that. One of them is I have to make the game hard enough that you die so easily so often that the victory clause of getting a certain distance in the game suggests that like it's un but maybe it's achievable if you just keep going. So like you keep trying to reach that point. There's a possible victory point. Reach that point without dying, and it's a victory point. But the vast majority of players are more likely to get a point value for how far they got without dying. And then there's a point value inherent in the coins collected. Now, if I make the coins, the brains collected, not the victory, you can collect them and your number will keep climbing. So you're going for a higher score than other players by doing that. But you'll never reach a level high enough that it is a victory condition. But I did want to see if I could do a like the higher your coins are, when you finally do die, you get an award like the paper, cotton, those kinds of like paper, cotton, leather, wood, something like that. And so you just go further and further up that list. And ideally, like the highest level would be like a 32. So it would be like diamond uh, award, having gotten that many brains. Now, could you potentially go past that? Sure. I feel like making it so that you have to really, really, really have achieved a level of expertise to get past like 20. And if you get past 35, then it'd be something like that's a massive achievement, but it should almost be impossible. And so I can stop awarding brain points at that point, or like the trophies that accumulate. Um, Maybe have a secret hidden like super duper trophy if you get like 1,000 brains. Um, whether it's achievable, I doubt it, but that's one of the things I have to figure out is being able to say like, okay, at the end, the brains accumulated equal a prize value at the end. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to make that possible in BuildBox. So I'll have to think about it. Meanwhile, I do think the victory clause should be, again, almost unachievable, but it's a distance traveled so that you have the possibility of seeing if you can get there without accumulating the brains. So, like, maybe you don't accumulate enough brains for a victory scenario of any kind, or you try to do a pacifist run and make it through without dying all the way to the distance victory point. And uh, both of those are sort of like things you can aim for. I also was thinking about it whether or not I wanted to do a potentially third path you could do, and I was thinking interesting to try to do not just a pacifist run or humans eaten run, like I score on that one, but also could you do a good guy zombie gameplay where there are certain situations in the game full of children rolling towards a fire, and you stop the bus and save the children. Like, is there a third tier scoring that you could maybe get for that? So I have to think about that. I still have to figure out how I could potentially get my victory points system worked out. Like, I know I can do it. It can keep a running tally of the coins you collect, the brains that I'll collect, uh, um, and then when you die or reach the end point, the the value of those coins in like points. But is there a way to convert those to a? There might be. It might be a game currency kind of thing where you earn enough coins to buy your medal. I might have to do it that way. So there are ways I could potentially do it. It's just like it's not meant to do what I'm doing with it. So it's steps and a lot of work to make it do what I need it to do. I'd be curious to try out the IG on RPG Maker's webpage. Now, if you're looking at all to look into that I do know the page. It's I couldn't find it as easily. Deal of the day. No. Um, make your own game with RPG Maker series. It's got Visual Novel Maker and the RPG Maker VX Ace, VX, XP, 2003, Manga Maker, Kamipo, um, and that's all one thing. Manga Maker Kamipo. I don't know what. Game Character Hub and the blog tutorials. So they've got some tutorials on there too. They do have a community page that you can talk with, like forums that you can talk with people. On the homepage doesn't have the IG Maker. It's when you go up on the top line and they have the drop down menus at product, and you scroll down and it goes Visual Novel Maker all the way down to RPG Maker 2003, and right under that is IG Maker. And then there's Manga Maker, then Character Hub Portfolio. So, like, I don't know why it's missed page, but create and animate your heroes, villains, and a multitude of other things as gadgets. See, this sounds like it potentially has more than Build Box. It's hard to say for sure because I'm not playing with it right now. And the images, the screenshots are not great. Build your canvas to explore space, travel the world, get lost in fantasy, make custom title cards, game over screens, menus, etc., and then use the screen flow, link canvases together in endless ways to make your game. Like, it seems like it at least offers many of the box does. Maybe not all of them, but most of what I needed, and potentially a few things that Build Box doesn't do. But does it in something that doesn't restrict my ability to build a game. Whereas like BuildBox, I have 3 world limits and I think a 45 limit. I'm renting it for a year, and it it has some definite thresholds I can't get past without paying a huge mint. And it looks like the IG Maker is a one-time purchase. I'm not sure about that. Let's see if I can find some information on the forums, maybe. But yeah, I put more into IG Maker. It's still $60 for a one-time purchase, but I may end up just doing that because if it lets me build the kind of game and I will indefinitely have access to it, I'll just do that. I'm not paying $200 a year for BuildBox. Support maker specific tutorials, tech support, Java, visual novel maker, project, game development, resources, off topic. Quickly for IG Maker, projects, visual novel maker, support, events and academies, community, product, announcements, discussion and support, IG Maker. Anything in there? That's the other thing I have to really think about in the near future too. Graphics. Like I can record the audio myself. I can use a audio recorder and just record my voice and make silly voices in software and do that pretty well. Making the images of the backdrop, most of the backdrop will be non-touchable. So it's basically just going to scroll by in the background. I will have occasional cars that you can hide over, and maybe some boxes or a few other random objects. I have to come up with art for the projectiles, the bullets, and images for the brains, the unconscious humans, live humans, 3 or 4 different types that I can mix and match and put together in different ways. Images of the zombie, and for the most part, that's all I would need. But like maybe a few other things in there, depending. Like if I do a hero scenario, I'll want to be able to have other things in the environment that you can intervene in. So it's I'll have to create. Now, how I'll make that artwork, I'm not sure yet. Like I haven't figured out the style yet. Right now, it's just trying to see if I can get the mechanics to work. So that's sort of a. I've gotten a playable game that's move, hop on platforms, hop off, avoid getting hit with spikes kind of game as a test run. And just by removing the spikes, making other mobile resemble the character, like I can already get most of what I need, but I want to be able to remove it and maybe replace it with a climbing feature. If I can get that much done in the next 24 hours, that would be a great help. After that, I need to figure out the projectiles from enemies and from the character, and see if I can figure out the drop brains feature. Because I don't want it to be automatically that you pick it up as you walk the fallen human. I want to give it the option of leaving an unconscious human rather than killing them and eating them. So I got to figure some of that out by tomorrow. I'm hoping that if I really put in a whole day full of work, that I'll be able to achieve. I don't even know what day it is. Is it Thursday? I think it's probably Thursday. I've been so exhausted, like being able to devote the time to it that I want to, and I'm also scrambling to make it all in place for the 4th. All right, well, we're at an hour. Thanks for joining me on that tonight. Wish I had some of the things I'm looking at when I do this. Like I thought about getting a small mirror, pointing it at the camera so that it looks at the screen. Because doing these live ones, it's not easy to do a screen capture of any kind. I'll have to think there's a way to make that work. All right, I will see you tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Okay, end stream. I should probably hit the end stream button, huh? Yeah, that